The Ramble on, talking media to death and diving into spoilers with Brendan.
And Nick, an autopsy for the sinners, an ascension for the saints of film and television.
Alright, welcome to the Ramble on, and let's dissect Lion King a little more. So, story, it's like we said, note for note, plus or minus a few key changes that either worked or didn't work. Let's discuss those.
Yeah, so the biggest changes to the story in this particular one are during the Oasis, because there's a lot more changes there. There's a lot more of a kind of a stoner utopia feeling going on there.
Yeah.
Where it's all these animals that are basically trying to avoid being anything in their lives. It has much more of a heavy theme of being there and a consequence for being there than it did in the movie.
It does.
In the animated version, I mean.
Yeah.
The other major change, and this one's heartbreaking, is when they're in the elephant graveyard, the scenery and like design for that area is so lackluster and underwhelming.
Oh yeah.
It really broke my heart. Like this was their chance to have something spectacular, like huge elephant bones, tar pits, something that looks actually terrifying, and it's just like some lime caves, some limestone formations. It's nothing. It's nothing.
Just a barren ridge, and that's pretty much it.
It doesn't have like the giant elephant skull you would think it would have. It doesn't have like any of the bones. It doesn't have the tar pits that were in the animated version. It has nothing. It has nothing interesting there.
It's not as illustratedly menacing as it was in the first animated movie. Like, no, it was just bland. It was just a bunch of rocks, and that's it.
The other part of the story, since this is a musical, let's talk about the musical numbers. Most of them are really underwhelming and not good.
If anything else, that's the biggest change in this movie, the musical numbers.
The first song, which is the opening song.
That's the same.
That one's kind of the same, but because of the CGI and because of the way they chose to show the animals off, not from the right camera angles that the animated version did, it looks extremely underwhelming. You can really notice the janky animation for some of the animals. You can notice that like the crowd of animals around the Pride Rock especially is like tiny. It's a tiny little crowd. Like there's no animals there. It looks piddly.
Like there were like 6 elephants and that's it.
Like everything just looks underwhelming compared with the original version, and that's a shame. It
is, and you know, we did kind of see it coming because there are constraints when it comes to CGI. I feel like there is.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Next up, we have got Can't Wait to Be King. This song sucked.
Oh, totally. No, the new kid, JD or whatever his name was.
Yeah, his voice wasn't that bad. He was able to sometimes get close to the original voice actor.
Close, but I wasn't a big fan
but
of
overall,
him.
No. Overall, his singing voice was not even close.
I agree. I wasn't a fan.
And then as far as the visuals go, because you remember that it was like this huge, colorful thing where you had like these animals doing all these wacky things to kind of, show us kids' imagination of what being a king is like, right?
Right.
But this one is just a watering hole. Like, some animals get annoyed with him, but that's the most of it. It's really underwhelming again.
Right.
Next up, Be Prepared. It's like 15 seconds long.
15 seconds and that's it. That was the most disappointing.
No goose-stepping hyenas, no interesting visuals, not even a good voice scar.
No choreography, no
Shenzi, none of the actors having dialogue back and forth with Scar, nothing.
Speaking of Shenzi, voiced by the talented Florence Kasumba.
So good. Her voice is so good. She's intimidating. She comes across as vaguely foreign to the very white-sounding Alliance, which feels weird since they're all voiced by primarily black actors.
Both variations, the animated and this new one, work. They're both very good.
I think this version is better than the animated version for Shenzi, especially.
Really?
Shenzi is so good in this.
This one is good. This one is good. It's not.
Florence Kasumba has a voice that I would associate with Shenzi, just straight up.
Oh yeah.
She feels like a leader in this movie.
Definitely.
Much more than before. Cold and menacing as a leader, and I like that feeling. I like that a lot.
Yeah, cold, decisive. Right, I agree. And she didn't get more screen time, which that's a shame.
It's really a shame. Next song would be Hakuna Matata, I believe, correct?
Yeah.
This is one of the few songs that benefited from getting a second shot at it. We get some meta humor where they talk about, he's grown like 400 pounds over the course of this song, We get the work of Billy Eichner and Donald Glover working together for songs, which they're both really fun in this song.
Very.
Seth Rogen is not good in this, but at least he's covered up by Billy Eichner, Donald Glover, and the kind of more meta humor that goes on in this song.
Yeah. No, the movie improved immensely for me when Donald Glover took the helm in the character.
He was a welcome presence in this movie.
Oh, very much so. As was Billy Eichner. Billy Eichner deserves a very good shout out.
He does. He was excellent in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other song would be "Can You Feel Love Tonight," where the original is a very simple song. It's just a piano. It's some chorus. Not much else.
Right. This one was better because it had Donald Glover and Beyonce working
pretty good. I don't think it was better. I think lyrically it may have been a bit better, but this song is too simple for the lyrics to matter, right? Like, you can't get much out of the singers. You have to have the visuals that go with it. And the visuals suffer so badly from not being animated. It suffers so badly. We don't get interesting choreography. We don't get interesting stuff. We're limited by real camera angles. We don't get much good stuff out of the visuals.
Right.
And they were really worried about the fuck me eyes that Nala gives him in it. So they completely avoid that situation.
I can't get that out of my head now. Thanks for that. Anyway, no, but you are right.
There's a lot of concern about, like, we can't get the furries more to work with. So they basically strip this moment of any kind of emotional connection, and it feels very lame. It feels like it's walking on one leg. And that's about all the songs I can think of.
No, there's really no.
There's some like
songs.
background songs that go on when like he's running back to Pride Rock or whatever. I think that had Donald Glover in it, like doing some background vocals, but it wasn't noticeable.
And it was short. Like, I mean, a lot of the soundtrack was really whittled down.
Really whittled down, yeah.
To make room for like extra scenes, which let's go ahead and talk about that. Like Nala's escape from Pride Rock.
Felt really unnecessary. Like I think they wanted to give John Oliver's character Zazu something to do to matter.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, why? Why would you even bother?
They did the weirdest thing where they got rid of a lot of the references in the original movie and replaced them with Disney references. Like
they did. They rehashed material from other movies, which was lazy as hell.
Especially like when they had the scene where Pumbaa is being used as bait, they used like a Beauty and the Beast be our guest reference. That one felt completely weird.
It felt forced and it felt lazy and it was just stupid. It pissed me off.
It felt weird. I don't know if it was stupid and lazy, but it was weird.
I mean, I felt it was lazy because they're just taking material from other movies, and why?
I mean, yeah, we lost the classic Luau song.
I wanted to see the Billy Eichner Timon in a hula skirt, goddammit.
No, because that's what I talked about before. The transition from animation to CGI means we cannot have fun.
I know. This like you said, this didn't have a more serious note. Like in the Oasis, there was a more nihilistic feel to it, and it was a welcome change of pace, really, because it did kind of emphasize.
That's one of the few places where it worked for the reimagining of that scene.
Right. It gave Simba the kind of metaphysical quandary of, pondering what should he have shirked his responsibility? Should he really have fled the crime scene? Like, I don't know. So, I mean, I think that's any other changes they made to the film. I mean, I'm sure they made a lot.
It's live action, and a lot of people worked extremely hard on this movie for it not to matter.
I think they even brought like live lions and animals for the animation team to learn how to draw.
They did that for the original.
Did they really?
Oh yeah. they talk a lot about how much they studied the lions and stuff as well.
Okay, so big whoop there. If they did the same fucking thing.
This is one funny thing I noticed is the faces were so bad that every time there was an emotional moment or anything that happens where they have to show an emotion, they pull the camera back and show the silhouettes.
Yeah.
Every time, without fail, they pull away so you don't see the stupid animal faces when they're saying sad things.
The only character that successfully pulled off a good lip sync was Timon.
Even then, his was mediocre.
It was. It was.
Every single time a character has an emotional moment, like especially like when Simba's with Mufasa, it pulls away. It pulls away every time you need to feel sad, because you can't do it looking at a stupid animal face.
No, they only have a limited range of emotions.
God, it's like someone predicted this months ago.
Oh, yeah. Us. Not to denote the work of the animators. I mean, the CGI was good.
It was wasted because the script had no life to it. This was another lifeless Disney remake.
Well, and we all knew the risks of We saw it in Dumbo. There's a risk when you transition from animation.
With Dumbo, I can't believe I'm defending Dumbo, but at least they tried to do something different. At least they tried like going in a new direction. They tried having some new themes. Anything.
They did.
But this one, it was lifeless. It had no pulse.
This was really flat. No.
Like, that's the odd thing about the transition from animation to CGI was you lost that pulse that was in the original.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to have fun with some scenes. You got to see into their minds through their facial interactions. Some of the jokes, which they kept the same jokes in this one. Like, early on, during the scene where, like, Simba's going to go fetch Nala so he can go to the elephant graveyard, he makes this crack about, like, Mom, you're messing up my mane.
Yeah.
But in the animated version, he's got like this like little like lick of like displaced hair, so you can
Cowlick.
tell that.
Yeah.
So you can tell that like he's trying to do something with his hair. In this one, there's not enough fuzz on his head, so that joke doesn't land at all.
No. It does not translate well.
And,
it didn't age well either.
Now, for those of you out there who have kids or like are bringing their families to the theater,
yeah,
my theater was fucking packed with kids. So
Same.
we can talk about this one.
Same.
The kids were constantly distracted. They weren't interested in the movie at all.
No.
They were moving in their seats. They were talking to each other. They didn't care about the movie.
Not at all.
So this one feels as a kids movie because it's not doing the base thing. It's not holding their attention.
Well, I think
And yeah, kids are dumb, but if you can tell if the movie's a good kids movie because it holds their attention. That's all it needs to do. This doesn't do that.
This was also the parents trying to recapture the awesomeness of the original Lion King, or like try to relive it or something.
No, see, that's the thing. I don't know who this movie's for.
I never quite nailed down the demographic. I thought it was for
the animated version. Sure, it's kind of for kids, a little bit older kids or whatever. But this one, I don't know who it's for. Because that's the thing I was thinking about earlier is Disney was way up their own ass with this story. Like there's a lot of moments in this movie where you can tell that like they thought like this is the holy grail of this movie. We have to do it justice. Or this is a very serious story. We have to treat this as serious.
Well, yeah, Hamlet. Hamlet story.
Well, no, I think they got it in their heads that Lion King was some sacred lamb that they couldn't possibly, that they had to treat with such care and dignity to not butcher the story, so they couldn't take many liberties when it's just a Hamlet story. You can take liberties. You can go crazy places. Like, there's a scene where, like, Rafiki gets out his stick, and he's like, it's like this really weird, like, epic, like, drawing the sword from its sheath, and it's like Excalibur moment, and he's like, my old friend.
It's not a sword, it's a shaman wand, damn it.
It's a stick. It's a stick. This isn't a lightsaber. This isn't Star Wars. We have to fetishize the lightsaber. It's a stupid stick.
No, it was such an abysmal scene.
But poor Eric Andre, because he was not given shit to work with in this movie.
No.
Aside from Random Strings, which, God bless him, he's good at it.
No. The hyenas should have gotten more camera time like they did in the last movie.
I mean, for what it's worth, the two side hyenas, I can't remember their names, but one of them voiced by Key. They're fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of the Key and Peele style of humor, more Key's humor, and generally his scenes work.
Yeah.
Which is nice. It's nice that they work.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Disney really thought they were making like a documentary at times in this movie.
It did feel like a nature documentary.
Like they weren't sure if they were making a documentary, if they were making an adaptation of Shakespearean literature, which they weren't because it's Lion King, or if they were making a silly kids movie. It constantly jumps around, and it feels really weird.
The tone is inconsistent. Which, let me ask you before I forget. So, with Dumbo they took liberties, but with Lion King they did not. Not really. So, what do you say? When making a remake, should you take some liberties? Okay. Okay, and I agree.
I may not always like the liberties you take, but I will always respect at least attempting to do something rather than shoveling out the same old boring shit.
Right. I mean, they did make a few changes here or there, but it's just for note, it's the same movie, same plot,
It's a big
same
part
characters.
of why. What was that robot anime movie?
Oh, Alita.
It's a big reason part of why I liked Alita better than. There's some forgettable movie that we watched I really hated.
Hellboy.
Hellboy, sure. But yeah, these movies where they take a risk, they try something. It's better than just gray, mushy nonsense.
Right. No, and then they evoke some kind of emotion or reaction. Hatred.
Hatred is still an emotion.
Yeah. Rather than just walking out of a theater thinking, well, that was 2 hours of absolute nothing.
It was a movie.
It was a movie.
Yeah, but I think, like we said in the American Recut, Scar and Seth Rogen, Seth Rogen, who was Pumbaa, and Jafar, who was Scar, are notably awful, mostly because they don't have the right enunciation in the right places.
No.
They have very flat deliveries consistently.
They do.
Like, these are two people who you can tell are not used to doing voice work, aren't used to having to work without moving their bodies. You can tell.
Yeah.
Donald Glover, on the other hand, comes across like an absolute pro at voice work, which surprised me.
Oh, yeah. No, and I have tremendous respect for Seth Rogen and
I don't respect Seth Rogen much.
But all the same, they were not good casting choices, in my opinion.
No, they were not. And the Disney makes having this problem with villains, where the villains deliver these very flat deliveries. They're not good. I think part of it is that they want to put a star power to the good guys and then cast a no name for the bad guy without even like casting for them.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
It kind of did. No, I mean, like with Jafar, I mean, he sounded like he was still going through puberty when Jafar was actually just old sorcerer dude, not this.
And the sad part is, too, I think that they didn't care about Jafar because with his genie look, he looked awful. He looked like what we were scared.
Will Smith would look like?
Yeah, he looked like what we were scared he would look like.
Yeah, no. And this new rendition of Scar...
He at least doesn't look terrible.
I think he does.
He looks old, he looks decrepit,
yeah.
And he looks like just an old man who's hiding behind feebleness.
He does, yes.
But, like, he doesn't look like he's young, he doesn't look like he's sinister, he just looks like he's tired.
He does, and this is the most downtrodden line I've ever seen.
Let's go take a nap.
And you can barely see the scar on him. I mean, I don't know how you would even emphasize a scar on a lion, but...
Realistically, you couldn't. In an animation, it's pretty easy. Yeah, that's crazy. It's like some of these choices with characters were made when it was animated.
Right.
But, yeah, so, want to get into the final wrap-up, unless you got anything else to talk about?
Oh, so, as far as the summary goes, my 2 cents on the movie, go ahead and go see the movie in the theater, pre-CGI, and Donald Glover's voice is amazing, but really, you're better off watching Animal Planet.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of the more lifeless Disney remakes we've seen in a long time. The story is beat for beat the same as the animated version without any real updates to a live-action version, so it benefits nothing from the CGI transition. It's got some decent voice work in it, and so much I would love to have in the animated version, but it doesn't have enough good changes that it works. The CGI was a massive waste of their money because mostly it works against the movie.
Well, like you said, the lip syncing.
a lot of times with the plotting of it, especially, it feels very underwhelming for the pacing of it. Like, a lot of scenes, like, in the animated version, it didn't feel rushed because you had the animation to go off. You were watching things, you were seeing things happen in the background, and you weren't worried about how long things were taking. In this version, you don't have much to look at anymore, so now you realize, this story's kind of rushed.
Agreed.
This just moving really fast. Overall, it does not benefit from the transition to CGI quote-unquote live action. So this one, I would say, is one of their worst, and I don't recommend it.
And that's our 2 cents, folks.
What a terrible movie.
Indeed. All right, well, we'll see you at the next movie, folks.
We'll see you next time.